Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. We are jumping in with a soulmate snapshot today, and this is going to be just kind of looking at the week that's coming towards you, but just what's happening in the energy right now. We've had a lot of kind of eddying, couple more bizarre dreams came in from last night in the notes. You guys write me notes. So for those of you who are relatively new here, there's a tendency for I can't respond to all of the notes that I receive, but I do read all of them. I'm sometimes a little bit behind, but I always read them. So in the notes this morning, I was able to see a little bit of a trend around dreams, and it was because a couple of people put it in the subject line. So just kind of keeping that in mind, we've seen a lot about having dreamlike qualities in the way your person is feeling. I think that showed up for us yesterday again, couple times in the extended reading. So let's go ahead and jump in and just kind of see what sort of energy is happening around this union right now, and a little bit about maybe what's happening as we go into this week. So it'll be a general reading for this extended, or sorry, for this group. It's just going to be for this collective. And so if it resonates with you, you may want to check out some of the other readings. You may even want to subscribe. We know it won't resonate with everybody. Definitely not going to resonate with everybody. It shouldn't resonate with everybody. But if it's you, maybe subscribe, check in there. So we're going to go ahead and look at the energy. We'll start with the energetic backdrop and energy between the two of you. So it could be energy that's between you, but also energy that you're kind of swimming in. And just, I guess we'll open it up to this week, but it's really heavily what is happening in this energy right now. So we'll check it again as we get into, tomorrow's reading, and we check it most days. We've got the 10 of air. Oh, this is focus on something that hasn't gone well. It's focus on something that's a painful ending. So it could be a breakup between the two of you, or the time where you began to kind of split off in separate directions. But I feel like it's even more... it feels like it's even more something that has happened prior to the two of you coming together. This is something that they associate with your relationship. We saw this in yesterday's reading. This is pain that they associate with your relationship. Didn't happen with you. They may also be kind of having that pain about what happened between the two of you. And that energy feels very them related. Although it doesn't deny that you could be having many of those same kinds of feelings and thoughts. Especially with as much as the two of you have been kind of, your emotions have been bouncing off one another. We have the Two of Pentacles, so I don't see people like not going to work or not being able to function, but I do see kind of this absent-minded tendency to want to mill around a little bit and to feel like, I just don't really know, I can't get it together today. There's this feeling of I can't really get it together today. And you may not need to. This may be as good as it really needs to get. There's a sense of, with the Queen of Wands in the reverse, not necessarily needing to get it together today and engineering the situation so that you don't really have to. With the Seven of Cups over here, that's where kind of I'm not sure about how I want to move forward. I'm a little bit unclear. There's a lot of kind of misty, unclear sort of energy in that, but knowing that there are certainly paths forward, just maybe it's difficult to choose one and then actually execute on that path. With the Queen of Wands, though, like I said, it's more engineering the situation so that there's not a need to go down a path, so that you can actually, it's canceling all your requirements for a day, just deciding you're not going to go to work, whatever that is, It's that kind of energy, whether you're able to do that or not. In some cases, requirements are easier to get out of than others. The Page of Wands, though, talks a little bit about kind of a slow, depressive energy, but it's got a little bit of an air of stagnation to it. So it's not just a gray, dreary day where it's kind of, you would rather sit down and read a book. It's more a situation of just, it's got a little bit of that depression element to it. And then we also have the Four of Pentacles and the Tower in reverse. And actually, even though I think that Two of Swords looks really nice, I think we stop there. So with the Four of Pentacles, there's that feeling of needing to let something go. This is that attachment that you're working on addressing, but there's a reluctance to do that. Both of you are trying to figure out how to not be so attached to something that if you could just stop with the attachment. There's an element of overthinking to this as well, but if you could do that, then you would be able to walk away from something that would make you a lot happier. I do not get the sense that these are the same thing. I feel like they're wanting to walk away from something on their side that would make them happier, and you're wanting to walk away from the overthinking around your person in order to make you happier. But those are not necessarily going to be universal. It's just a couple of examples of why they might not be the same, even though the energy is pretty similar. Here with the Tower in reverse, though, there's the reluctance to make something happen, reluctance to allow something to happen. It's like, it's just this feeling like, I know this is going to happen. I know it's going to happen, but I'm going to hold off for as long as I can, you know, that kind of thing. Let's see what else wants to come out here. And I know that these are... these soulmate snapshots are sometimes super quick, but we get a lot of value out of them just because sometimes it's a matter of catching a day like today and being able to say, it's not just you, or it is, here's what's happening with your person, or, you know, in this case, I think we're seeing a little bit of both of those types of things. It's things that reply, or things that are associated with both you and your person to a certain degree. So we've got the King of Cups and the Two of Cups. Two of Cups in the upright, King of Cups in the reverse. So this is like your person is... this is just what it reminds me of. Your person's taking a vacation from the situation, but you're still very much in it. Like the Two of Cups is saying that you're still having, you're basically embracing on the spiritual side, but on the 3D side, they're retracting. We've talked about the retraction of this, the expansion and the retraction of this energy of emotion from your person for quite some time. Over the last few days especially, it's been coming up, but it's been resulting in increased emotional capacity, because every time they flood, they're flooding with a little bit more capacity, and then they retract again. So we're seeing in the last couple of days a lot of talk about them retracting again, and that's what's happening with this King of Cups. This is them finding that emotional limitation that stops them. But this Two of Cups is part of the reason why things feel as confusing as they do maybe right now, because it's like they're saying, I'm not going to do this, but they're still holding on to you pretty strongly in the spiritual realm. All of this feels like it's temporary and going to move around, but that's kind of what's happening with today. So let's look to see what else you need to know. And it's especially today, heavy on today, but really kind of looking across the course of the week. It's always easier to tell kind of how the energy looks closer to, the closer you are to now, the more you're going to be able to do, which it's logical, but it seems like one of those things that sometimes I still like to say. It's been a lot of almost draining energy between the two of you here recently. And your notes to me are showing that you guys are coming out on kind of the better side of that. There, indeed, we have the Seven of Fire. Seven of Fire is about confidence. It's about maybe having to do a lot, but being prepared to do a lot. So that's a nice thing. Being in a situation where you really just kind of need to do a lot. So there's the Five of Pentacles in reverse. This has to do with the lessons that you guys have been learning, but not necessarily that you're able to use yet. So keep in mind that learning a lesson does not necessarily mean that you're prepared to go out and put it into play. However, you are receiving kind of downloads from your higher self that are giving you some of the guidance that you need. So you have to be prepared to access that. You have to be listening, but it's there. helping to move you in the direction of something that is destined. The tricky bit is it may not seem super logical. May not seem like, well, you might be looking at it and saying, how is this part of my path? Some of these paths are a little circuitous and it's not super obvious what's going to be on the path. So the important thing to note is that you would be continuing to go in the right direction. So to take those downloads that you're receiving, see if you can write them down, and maybe take a look to save them for later, because right now it might feel like they're a little bit tough to keep in line. There's this sense of kind of this fire and this wanting to move forward and having a new capacity to do so. But, even with your person, they're retracting their emotions right now and not being able to move forward in the ways that they might want to be able to. It's a lot of just because you can doesn't mean you should. But also, like I was saying up here, with lessons that you've been exposed to, you've been given the information, but you're not quite ready to put that all into play just yet. Definitely we're getting a little bit of that. Oh, let's see. We've got that 10 of Swords feeling again. So that's the same as this 10 of Air that we have over here, but it's honestly given me a little bit different of a vibe. So with this one, this feels like it is between the two of you, but it's like imagining what could happen between the two of you. There is some guidance, and it's both of you receiving guidance, not necessarily from the same person, on how to proceed with this situation. And the thing is, it's like when you receive it, it's guidance for this situation, even if it is not like, I am specifically talking about this situation. So it's super obvious that this is guidance about this situation. But what you may see is additional guidance, and this again will happen for your person as well, additional guidance that when you hear it, it's relevant, and it's relevant to you, but it's not necessarily being given on that topic. So there's a little bit of a hiccup that happens across the course of time here, and I feel like it's sometime across the course of this week. Could be that missed opportunity that we've been seeing pop up, but it's the thing where there's a missed opportunity, but then it comes around for you again. So it ends up not being not being too bad. A lot of nostalgia feelings about the past may pop up here. Allow that to happen, because we've been seeing in the last couple of readings, I think maybe, that there's something that you don't know that you do suspect about your situation with your person that it's going to pop up for you. It's like going to come up in your thoughts, but your person may or may not actually come and tell you anything. I think, like we were seeing in the last couple of the readings, vast majority of your people are not likely to actually come forward, but they're going to have several opportunities to do so. It's like I said in one of the readings, this person gets drunk more than once. And of course, it's not that way for everybody, but in some of them, yes, they're going to get loaded a couple of times, and they're going to dodge the bullet of getting back to you. But then at one of these points, they're actually going to hit send. So that's in the energy. But I think for more of the people, there's going to be less. They're going to be able to dodge the bullet, and you're just going to feel them kind of on that. You're going to feel them right there. But there's a lot of nostalgia that comes from that as a result. Then we have the Knight of Cups energy, which is talking about that strong desire to reach out. So this is the week where there's a strong desire to reach out, and yet there's also this retracting of the emotions. So it's like we were seeing it. Oh man, it might have been one of the extendeds here recently, but it was like, if your person, it was the one to watch. It was an extended from a couple of days ago that it was, was it? No. It was the September refresh. I think that's what it was. It was a September refresh, and we looked into like, what if this person does reach out to you? What is stopping them? What if this person does reach out to you? And that was where we got the realization that we needed to do the what is stopping them from reaching out to you, because their energy is right here, reading that we did yesterday. But so this was it was just very thick in there. The feeling of them feeling like they needed to reach out, feeling like they might, but not really being prepared to do that, not being, I guess, ready to do it. And so they invoke a little pain. You have to be prepared for this. So basically, if they reach out to you, or if you choose to reach out to them, you have to be prepared for what happens if this does not go the way that you want it to go. But use it. Both of you can use what you learn here on the quest for where do you go from here? What is it that's going to give you wish fulfillment? What is it that's going to make you happy? I think for most people, it results in not being in communication at the end of the week. But there may be some during the course of the week that then you have to think about exactly how you want to manage and kind of cope with. Because we've got the Queen of Cups coming in here, and this Queen of Cups is feeling, it's just very, it's very reactive. Like it's reactive, but it's also codependent. There's this feeling of almost going through that that codependency cycle, overlapping with the narcissism cycle. There's a lot of that sticky sort of feeling in there that it's hard to describe it any other way when I dip into it, because it's not something that maybe was already in my world on a given day. Hopefully not. So when I dip into it, it does feel pretty stunning, and different. It's like going into, again, something that's kind of sticky. I don't feel like it's a great environment for the two of you to talk, but that's not necessarily going to apply to everybody. If you've got somebody that's farther along on their timeline, they may be actually able to use this fire energy to do better with the communication. So let's get some area of focus for you. We've got that rainy day energy. Might be a good time not to reach out. Yeah, hold off. You're still going to be moving in the right direction, but this is not, you are not advised to take the lead in communicating with this person. It doesn't seem like it's a good time for them. And we've seen in a couple of the recent readings as to why that is, but yeah, not a great time for them. So Knight of Swords, you may feel a really decisive pull to reach out to them. Take the time to think about it. With the Hermit card, you're encouraged to think about it because you're going to discover that something's not right and that it throws you farther out of balance if you do. So, for example, you don't want to reach out to them under this energy because it will continue to push the energy farther out of balance. So it has a little bit more of that feel of you're going to feel wrong when you do it if you're not supposed to do it. And yet you're going to have this drive and this desire with the Knight of Swords to go rushing in, with the Fool to just do something new. And like, you're going to have the ability to do that. I get that you're going to have that. I think that in order for you not to spend too much time in cleanup mode afterwards, you've got to be very careful about that. Make sure you're ready for it, because if you're pushing that energy farther out of balance, it's still going to be work that has to be done. The work that you are doing. So one of the messages that you're receiving here is to try and respect the work that you have been doing. You have done such a beautiful job on some of these lessons that you've learned, that if you can, try to avoid setbacks and regressions. Try to avoid, this keeps me in more cards. Try to avoid reaching out if you know that reaching out pushes things farther out of balance and creates emotional challenges for you. If you're ashamed of yourself afterwards for doing it, try and talk yourself out of it before you do it. That sort of energy. Okay, let's see what else here. We've got the Hanged Man. More information coming. So we were just talking about there being more information for you that you then have to figure out how to assimilate that. And I think that was, we've actually seen that maybe come up in the last couple of days. So when I say we were just talking about it, we've been talking about it. Nine of Swords is saying that this is not necessarily going to be a bunch of easy decisions. So you may have something that seemed like it was super obvious on the outset, like, hey, I'm not going to reach out to this person. But then for whatever reason, it's been 3 years and you still today is one of those days and you just really feel like you want to reach out to them, I would urge you to take this into consideration before you do, so that you don't get into a situation where you upset yourself. But you have made such progress with your own self-worth that I can see you, if you're able to get past it, if you're able to get past the frustration, I can see you making a choice that will ultimately make you a lot happier about things. I also see, but there may be an apology coming your way. So you still have to get ready for what happens if your person comes your direction. And that's something that we can't control. You aren't able to control unless you block them. And blocking them puts energy out there that I don't think is, that's not about letting go. That's not about letting go of the outcome. That's very much a controlling the outcome, which is part of the reason why your person may be doing it. But if they're wanting to come in for an apology, you may be put in a situation where you want to listen to that. But here with the Two of Swords, you are going to be given a decision that you need to make. Could be about how you want to handle this person. Could be about just in general something else that is around this. It's about the soulmate situation, I can say that. But it's difficult to say exactly what it will be. So you've got some interesting energy coming your way. Definitely some decisions to make, things to think about. You're encouraged not to reach out to your person right now because of the way that the way the energy is eddying, the kind of energy that they're in today, the kind that the two of you are even swimming in, and what's happening between you. I think I'm going to just go ahead and leave it here. There's not an extended on this one because it's just a quick soulmate snapshot. But we'll get back into it tomorrow and get a little bit more detail because this is sort of the energy of today, but also kind of spreading out into the rest of the week. I would be curious to hear from you what you most want to hear about as we get into tomorrow. So, yep, send me a note. Let me know what you want to hear, and that's the question we'll answer.